I mean, we probably won't need to mention the chapters.
You don't need to mention the chapters.
You're right. We don't need to mention the chapters. Welcome, or welcome back, or welcome for the first time,
Or the
20th time.
50. This might be 60. I think this is episode 60.
60.
Woo!
We made it. And here we are, saving the universe.
Yes.
We hope you enjoyed. We are Soul of a Gamer. I'm Scott.
That's Steven.
And every week we come at you with the game that we played.
Yeah.
And last week we played. I don't honestly remember. So.
Oh, God. Was it? It wasn't Catherine. Was it Catherine?
It might have been
I think
Catherine.
it might have been Catherine.
So if it was Catherine, we hope you enjoyed Catherine. If it wasn't, well, we don't remember. So
Yeah.
So yeah, here we are with this week's game,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
the 2021 version game.
Technically called Marvel's Guardian of the
Yeah,
Galaxy.
I don't know why the hell they named it that.
I hate that.
So if you wanted to look this game up anywhere, you would type that name in and you'd get the movie first.
Yes.
Every fucking time.
Yes.
I don't know what the hell their problem is, because there's so many, like, you could have put Lady Hellbender?
Lady Hellbender, yeah.
Bender? Yeah, Lady Hellbender's Revenge. You could have put anything in here.
Yeah.
There's so much you could have put the Ballad of No Lips.
True.
So, like, you could have done anything with the name. And
Into
you
the
just,
cosmos.
yeah, but you fucked it all and just, like...
Well, and it's stupid too, because if you have Game Pass and you're wanting to, this is on Game Pass, and if you're on Game Pass looking for this game, and if you go to where you would think you would go, Guardians of the Galaxy, and G's in alphabetical order, it's not there. It's under M, stupidly.
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb.
Yeah, but I mean, I knew that right off the bat. I was like, okay, I see. Because that's when I was looking it up. I'm like, okay, so it's called Guardians of the Galaxy, and I get the G, and I'm like, all right, it's probably under Marvel, because this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Just like all the Star Wars games under Star Wars, and then the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I guess even Spider-Man did that with Sony's Spider-Man.
Yeah, so, oh well. We'll jump right into this and go to...
What's on the box?
He didn't hit the button in time.
I did, but I forgot I didn't have it ready.
No.
And we kind of skipped the intro.
He didn't
but-
hit the button. We didn't skip the intro.
The intro.
Oh, yeah, we're not gonna have the song
Yeah,
this
whatever.
time. Whatever.
All right.
I forgot about that.
Me too.
I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for the trick question.
Yes. We ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Lead the Guardians. Fire up a wild ride across the cosmos with a fresh take on Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. In this action-adventure game, you are Star-Lord, leading the unpredictable Guardians from one explosion of chaos to the next. You got this. Probably.
I like how you skipped all the periods. You're like, all right, let's just get this. Lead the Guardians. Fire up with a wild ride.
I always get shit, rightfully so, for always fucking up and acting like I'm reading like a page in a school. Like you always say.
Lead the Guardians.
So I'm trying to do better.
I should just stop you whenever you get to a T and go, today, Junior. So yeah, and then I guess we'll finish this all new story, become Star-Lord, save the universe. That's pretty much, the box is pretty
generic.
Yeah, very generic. Like no explanation of gameplay or how it works. Like I think I would have like in this first-person shooter or a third-person shooter or a tactical
squad-based.
Yeah, a tactical third-person shooter. Like you got to give a little bit explanation to what the game is on the box. Otherwise, you're just kind of fucking yourself.
Yeah. This is a single-player only game, very story-driven game.
Yeah, I was on normal difficulty. I don't know if that changes the flow of the game at all, but it was pretty
normal too.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the box. Nothing too special about that. So we'll just move on to the next segment.
Are we jamming?
Are we?
Yes, we fucking are. If you guys know Guardians of the Galaxy and their soundtracks at all, this is no fucking different.
No, well, it's a little different. I would say, so the movies, I think, took it from the 70s. Now, this takes it from the 80s.
Yeah.
So, like, it goes... one thing that I read, because I was kind of reading about Star-Lord after I played the game, because I'm like, okay, so what about this game is true and what's not true?
Yeah.
And so in the original adaptation, when Star-Lord gets introduced... he's introduced as a 32-year-old. Well, then 4 years later, he's introduced as a 30-year-old. And then 5 years later, He's introduced as a 29-year-old.
Oh, okay.
So they constantly redo his story to fit that he's always in like his 30s to 20s, or 20s to 30s, and he's always like his year changes when he was born, so the music changes that he liked to listen to.
Yeah.
So pretty soon he's gonna be in the fucking 90s, and he's gonna be listening to nothing but fucking Creed and Pearl Jam. So
Probably gonna really listen to like Poison. I guess Poison was still 80s.
yeah,
too.
that's 80s.
Never
So,
mind. All right.
He's listening to Poison now.
But, yeah. No. This game. I mean, never gonna give you up. Kickstart my heart. Turn me loose. Holding out for a hero. Don't fear the Reaper. Turn up the radio. White Wedding. Like you
I
could
just
go
want
on.
you guys to know that he didn't memorize any of these. He's looking on his phone at the songs. But I will say the actual band. So they created a band. And this is what I had to look up because I was curious if the band was like real in the comics, and it's not.
No.
This is just for this game. So this is a universe because Nikki's not even real in the comic. She is, but she's not in Star-Lord's universe.
Yeah, she's not in the like main few universes. She's in like expanded like.
No. She's in a completely different reality.
Oh.
She comes from one where the Guardians of the Galaxy are in the 31st century.
Oh, okay.
So their Star-Lord's not in that Guardians because he's not alive. So it's a completely different Guardians that she's from. So they kind of took from different elements to make this game, which was okay. But the main thing in this game is he gets his name from the band Star-Lord from Earth, which is an 80s hair metal band.
Yes.
Which kind of the heavier.
Was pretty awesome, honestly. Like, and you're like reading like the old CD booklets at the beginning of the game, which I thought was kind of funny.
What's interesting too is the band. The music is actually kind of good. Like it's really a fun fucking band. I really like the song "Ghost."
Yes,
that was my favorite song from that whole. Because I ended up listening to the whole album. I'm like, okay, all of it's good, but "Ghost" is the best.
It was pretty fantastic, and a lot of people like wonder. This isn't obviously the MCU universe. This isn't universe Earth 616.
I think nobody wondered that, would they? You play 5 minutes.
If you play 5 minutes of the game, you probably know that it's not.
Because you already see that Star-Lord was a kid and his mom died from a different way from the MCU died.
It wasn't cancer. Yeah. She was killed
He's
by
not
aliens.
Ego's son. He's Jay's son.
Yeah.
He's his son instead, that's true to the comics. He is actually I don't know how you say it, Spartix.
I don't remember.
But he is that. Like in the comics, he is that.
So this definitely pulls from a lot of different things. A lot of people think it's the same universe as the Avengers game because it was also made by Square Enix. It hasn't been fully confirmed or not yet, but
it might be. Who knows?
I can't remember if the Earth was in the 800s or in the thousands that everyone was guessing that this one was.
Yeah, but let's get back onto the Jammin'.
Yes.
So voice acting. Fucking
awesome.
on point.
Like seriously.
Drax was perfect. Rocket was perfect. Groot was perfect, although he doesn't say much.
Yeah.
And then Gamora was that I pictured that voice on Gamora and not the actress who plays her now. Yeah.
Honestly, like the way I really love Gamora way more in this than I did the movies. Like it was so much better.
It fit her personality better in this, and Peter Quill's honestly, it fit his personality better in this. The voice actor was perfect.
Well, and it's really cool because these are like different adaptations of these characters, so they're not going to be the exact same, but they have the same vibes that they do from the movie.
Yeah.
And literally, like, I can't say that any one of them was bad in the game. Like, I love them so much more in the game, I think, than I did the movies.
Yeah, because this is them early on, it seems like. This is when
Drax and Gamora first entered the group, because it was just Rocket, Groot, and Star-Lord for a little bit, and Drax and Gamora just joined.
All right, well, we've got the music and the voice acting pretty down.
Seriously, though, this soundtrack, you can look it up on Spotify. It's fucking a killer soundtrack.
Yeah.
Just every bit of it. And, like, one of the things that I love about the game are these huddle moments.
Yeah.
And after
let's get into the...
okay.
Let's go on.
How does it play?
All right, now we can talk about the huddle moments.
So, part of this game, once you build up a meter of doing a bunch of different attacks and doing all these things, you can hit both of the triggers at once, and it activates a huddle mode. And Peter calls all the Guardians in. He's like, "All right, guys," and they start like saying random things. And
it's not random. I don't know if you noticed this.
It repeats.
Well, no, it's so it changes. So based on how you're doing in the battle currently, They're either really exhausted and feel like they're going to lose, or they're really hyped and feel like they're going to win.
Yeah.
And then you choose the option based on what they're saying,
Yeah.
which is interesting because at first I didn't notice that, but when I did, I'm like, holy shit, so it's not hard to figure out what to say now.
Yeah, it didn't take me too long to figure out, because I was saying the wrong things at first. I was like, oh, I should say this, but I was like, no, and everyone's like, oh, that was lame. And if they say that it's lame, like, you still get the bonuses for the huddle, but you don't have the extra, like, music, and everyone's like not.
So you get the bonuses for the huddle, but the team doesn't.
That's right.
So, and then if you succeeded, everyone gets the bonus, but you get the music still.
Yeah. And usually it's him playing something on his Walkman, and it's
my favorite was he played Don't Worry,
yeah,
Be Happy.
Don't worry, be happy.
And that just randomly plays, and you're like, all right, this is a pretty intense boss fight. And that's what's playing.
But yeah, seriously, the squad mechanics on this are really, really smooth.
Yeah,
and they're fun.
At first, it's a struggle to get into.
Yes.
So I guess we'll get into what you can do. So first off, as you can shoot. You have abilities that have cooldowns. If you use one ability, all your abilities are on cooldown.
Yes.
The only separation is your alt ability and your regular abilities. Those are two separate cooldowns, so you could use a regular ability and then right after use an alt ability without worrying about the cooldown that's going on.
And then on top of his regular shooting, he's got elemental gun shooting that has a separate energy bar.
It can help a little bit. During the fights, I rarely used it.
They can help a lot in some battles.
Just to shield people, that's all I use.
The shield people for sure, but like especially in big groups, the electricity, because it bounces around,
and
daggers them. Like you could like pull them all together with one of like the Rocket's grenade that pulls everyone together.
Yeah.
And then you can have Drax do the giant slam that does everybody. And then you can have Gamora do the slash that goes through everybody.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it wasn't to group them all together. I thought those were kind of useless abilities because they're always grouped together anyway. The only ones that aren't are the snipers. They always like try to surround you as a unit.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a little bit like more glumped together. It was easier to get some of the bigger things. I thought it made a difference. I really enjoyed doing some of those.
I so rarely used it. It wasn't even funny.
Oh, okay.
I used all attack options.
Okay.
Because even like describing Drax as a tank, I was like, why? Why do you even need a tank in this game? Like everyone seems to be on the same level with health.
Yeah.
Rocket didn't go down that much, which you think he would because he's purely a damage giver. Like
yeah, it really kind of depended like where they were at because like Drax went down probably the most for me out of everybody.
Yeah.
And then maybe Groot.
Well, Gamora for me went down the most for sure, but like it wasn't that much. It wasn't like once per fight, it was once per 5 fights.
Yeah.
So
and that was really good. Like they definitely seemed like it was pretty well balanced throughout the entire game.
But it shouldn't be, right? Because they did give them monikers. They said Gamora is a high damage single target giver. Rocket is a high damage multi-target giver. Groot is a CC person, and Drax is a high.
And I fully
health.
believe that's
sure, but then they balanced it. They balanced their health and everything.
Well, I mean, they might have balanced their health, but like I also noticed that like Rocket didn't go down a lot for me because Rocket was always like in the background. Like he was never like in the middle of the battle most of the time. Like a lot of times he was standing on like a ledge somewhere.
But they weren't all like you'd think there would be a taunt mechanism to get them towards Groot and Drax, and they would have more health, and like it was too balanced. I think they described it as a non-balanced. Like you got to be careful when you're sending Gamora into the fray because she probably doesn't have high defense.
I don't think it was as much. I didn't feel like it was as much about anyone's health in this game, because like even like you dying and stuff, or you falling off a cliff, you would just respawn back. Like I think it was more just about the combat itself and doing the different styles of combat. I don't know.
They made it feel like it was supposed to be like that tactical combat style. Is they have bruisers, they have tanks, and they have damage dealers.
Well, like, so the other game that really compares to this for me, I don't know if you've ever played Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 has the same squad mechanics where you're controlling one character, but you're sending people out for combos and attack and stuff. None of the other characters hardly ever went down. It was the same as this. Like, it just seemed like it was more about
but did they define those
combos.
Characters? Did they define them like this one's majorly damage deal, this one's majorly defense? See, and that's
in a way, but like to me, it's not about their health or their stats or their tankiness or whatever. It's more just about the combos.
Yeah, but that's
and
the
attacks.
definition. They defined it as this.
Well,
so
and
it
they
should be
still were
this.
those things.
I don't think so.
It didn't matter how tanky they were.
Even like Drax did as much damage as Gamora.
He did more stagger damage than Gamora did.
No, he did as much damage as Gamora.
Well, and if you would send Drax to do his big stagger attack, like on a big enemy, like, and then, or had Groot hold the big enemy and then him stagger the enemy and then her do her ultra high damage attack on it, like one shot, like almost any enemy.
Sure, but what I'm saying is I really don't think their definitions mattered, so why did they put them in the game? Why did they make Gamora?
Make you pissed off.
Apparently, like I said, like I think they wanted to do that, and then they just decided, okay, let's just balance everyone. There's no point in making this.
I don't think they wanted to. Like, I don't think they cared about the health. Like, just like in Final Fantasy 15, I don't think it. But mattered.
They did because they mentioned it. They even in the tutorial they say like be careful.
About health.
Yes, they did. They said, "Hey, Drax has more health than most people. He's going to be your tankiest character. You're going to want to send him in the fray first, and then others after him." But it really didn't matter.
A lot of these battles are so chaotic. I'm not keeping track of how many times Drax got hit compared to Gamora.
Well, you can't tell. You don't even have health.
That's what I'm saying too.
You don't have health bars for them, so why even mention that at all in the game? Why put that as part of the mechanics? Just have it be the combo based.
It's just what they say about them. Why does it actually
Well, because it affects how your gameplay is going to be played. So in that case, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be like Fire Emblem, where I have to have these people up front first, these people in the back.
It's not a strategy tactical game. It's a squad-based mechanics game.
It's a strategy tactical game.
It's
because they have staggering, because they have stuns, because they have high damage output from certain characters, because each character has something you have to stop on that character. Like the jetpack people, you have to stop the jetpack, otherwise you're going to miss every attack. So like it's both, but they really shouldn't have. They should have done just what you're saying. Like I don't think they should have even brought in health or anything on that.
Okay.
Like I don't know why
mentioned health at all. I guess,
no,
but
they
it
shouldn't
doesn't.
have.
I guess to me that part of the game didn't matter just because the squad mechanics were so nice, and I did like the different combos, and I definitely noticed that some combos were better than others.
I don't even know how you start combos. Like honestly, in that game, like randomly you'll do what you need to do, and then it'll say Drax did something with you, and I'm like, well, I didn't tell him to do that, so how the fuck did he know to do that?
So a lot of times with those kind of things, if you like got them close to a finishing move while next to another character.
Yeah, I know, and that's pretty much it, but it's like, why wouldn't you have that an option for you to initiate so that way you can pick who's doing the final blow?
Well, and they did with some of the attacks, like when they had you like aim your elemental gun at a certain spot, or when they had you like hit Y so Gamora could cut off a limb.
Yeah, but even
like,
then you don't really
limb.
even choose a person. They just all can do that.
Whoever was there. Or
see, again, what's the point in the person with the sword who can cut off the limb if Groot can just yank it off too? It was just interesting.
I mean, with how powerful both of them are,
and
both of them could do
Rocket
that.
Can blow it off, and Drax can pull it off with his arm. It's like,
I don't know. I guess like
I guess
you wanted more variety with the characters, but I didn't think that mattered because they showed the different animations and then showed the different style of them doing it in their own ways.
Choice, I think I wanted the choice for them to so you need Gamora to do this, so you have to angle it up with Gamora.
So, and one of the things that I wondered, which would have been kind of cool with this, is Final Fantasy VII Remake actually did the squad mechanics, but you could switch characters as well.
Nice.
And I thought that would have been cool for this.
And
if they did a second one of this one, that would have been cool, where you could actually like take control of Drax and then do stuff, then take control of Gamora. But it also had pause mechanics. Anytime you were in a menu to pick the ability, it would pause the battle.
Well, I mean, this one had slow down mechanics.
Yeah, but
same thing, just a little different.
Exploration in this game is not that crazy.
No, it's not
really
important.
Minimalistic.
Either.
It's just for cosmetics and stuff. There's even like fully upgrading yourself doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and I thought it would.
Yeah.
Like it would have been really cool if they had like a mega ability you unlocked if you had full upgrades.
Yeah, like some of the best ones were just like that the when you're low 50% or 25% health, you shoot double speed.
See, and that one should have been way expanded. That would have been so, because that was my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. And like I had extra shields and stuff that was helpful.
I unlocked everything.
I unlocked almost everything. I didn't
I had
explore as much
I had
as I probably...
so much fucking materials by the end. I'm like, what's the point in having all these materials in the game?
See, I was out of materials and I didn't
Oh,
buy I
weird.
think 2 or 3 upgrades because I didn't explore. Like at the beginning of the game, I wasn't exploring as much because I didn't know how much exploring there would be.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, oh, I didn't realize
Well, the
that
first
could've
thing
gone
I
that
unlocked
path.
was that scan, so I could see where the materials were.
Yeah, because
that...
I didn't actually pick that one because I was like, I don't care.
Oh, well, it mattered because it helped me pick. So one of the things I hated about this game is you'd have 2 directions you can go without any idea what the directions were.
Yeah, like one's just for like exploration or like a random shortcut or like you'll get random conversations.
You
or
could
something.
get the collectibles in one direction and the other direction story direction.
Yeah.
And if you choose story direction first, well, you can't go fucking back.
Yeah.
And that was really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Because unless you play this game multiple times, which is maybe the point of that, you have no idea.
Because they had like New Game Plus and everything anyways.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
So once you finish the game, you get the option to do a New Game Plus. I almost did, honestly, because I'm not gonna get into it fully yet, but I fucking love this.
Yeah, it was fun.
But
I was, again, a little peeved that they did that whole thing. I really wish they would have had like a clue set when maybe a guardian says like, hey, this path looks a little bit strange over here. And when they said that, that means you have to go there before you go on story.
I loved it that Rocket had a lot of things to say. Like there was like one time I was exploring and it was on Lady Hellbender's planet when you're jumping on top of like the mushroom kind of things. And Rocket's like, oh look, another shiny piece of crap over there that Quill's gotta go explore and find. Woo, some shiny shit. Yeah.
But the only problem is they don't say it until after you make that choice. Like I really wish it would have been before.
Or like like you get on a path and it's like, where are you going, Quill? I'm scouting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, scouting. Yeah, that's totally what you're lost, aren't you? You're not supposed to go this way, right? Like there was some like things like that I was really enjoying. And we didn't get into it in the dialogue, but seriously, some of the dialogue with like the things that they say, and especially like between it, I was laughing so hard so many times. Like especially when they were I won't spoil this, but like when they were captured by Cosmo and they were in the jail cell and Rocket and Star-Lord start barking at each other. Which I did notice that the different dialogue choices you had, because a lot of times you had 3 dialogue choices, really did matter.
Yeah.
And it really did change what they would say back, or like you would get messages like, oh, you pissed off Rocket in this instance, or whatever.
I never got that message.
I did.
I don't know what the point in that was, because it didn't seem to have a point by the end of the game.
I'm not entirely sure, because I think there is only one ending to this game.
Yeah, so I ended up looking it up after the game, but if you get the collectible, it changes it adds words on the ending of that, but that's it. Like, it doesn't seem like the choices did anything, so you could have just thrown Rocket across the bridge and pissed him off, but I didn't end up doing that because I wanted to explore.
It was so funny, dude. He throws him and he just like splats like belly. He's like, oh, he's an animal. He'll land on his feet and then he lands on his face.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, you fucking asshole. Or Flarkin. Instead of saying fuck, they said Flark.
Yep.
Which was honestly hilarious. Yeah. And he's like, you Flarkin assholes. And then he starts making up a bunch of cuss words.
Yeah.
And Gamora's like, I've never heard those cuss words before. Is he making those things up right now? And it was just like something.
So at the end, let me ask you this: so there's a point where Rocket says, "Throw me."
Yeah.
Did he say that for you?
Yeah, he was a little reluctant. But he definitely he was like, all right, throw me again. And they're like, what? Just Flark can do it. All right, we need to do this. We need to get there. Just fucking throw me.
Okay, he was way less reluctant for me, but that's barely a change.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Like, to me, if you threw him in the beginning, maybe they make it so he doesn't want to be thrown there. And he refuses.
And he actually at one point, there was another point earlier where he said, "Never throw me ever again." But because I made more amends with Rocket throughout other things I was doing in the campaign, I think he was more willing to let me throw him again.
Did Drax throw him?
Yeah. Oh no, Drax didn't throw him. Drax threw something else. Yeah.
I was curious if that was like, I don't know, what's the point? Again, it doesn't feel like there's a point.
Yeah.
I feel like it should have just been like, if you do this here, you can't do it here. Because it seemed like that with other stuff.
And that's kind of why I want to also do a new game plus, is I want to see different
Change it, see if
changes.
it does anything.
Yeah.
Piss off Rocket the entire time instead of
Yeah,
be his
exactly.
friend.
Because and well, and, like there was things like with Gamora that was really fun. Like when she was all really pissed off after she cut off that one dude's arm,
Raker.
and he like sings to her. I don't know if you did those options where he sings to her instead of trying to talk to her. Like that was so funny. And they're like,
she does the Warrior from I can't remember the band, Scandal, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's Scandal, but that's a band. Originally, John Bon Jovi was in that band.
oh nice.
Yeah, but he wasn't in that for that recording. It was like the early stages of the band. I thought it was interesting.
But yeah, she's like, I always love that song, and she does not sound the greatest, but it is so funny, like her like jamming out to that song, because it was such a moment that you wouldn't have expected in that game. And going through those dialogue options, like I really don't think it would have been interesting at all going in the other dialogue options for that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like maybe with those dialogue options, it should have gave you bonuses for what you were about to do.
Yeah.
So like if you inspired Rocket, he suddenly gets damage increase.
Yeah.
Like that made sense, but I still don't understand what the point in any of that was.
I'm not sure.
Again, I don't think this game was well defined. I don't think they understood what they were trying to get for.
Square Enix has been doing absolute shit.
Yeah.
Over the last like so many years.
And I think they just approve games and then they're like, yeah, that looks great, without actually having any testers do
and I mean,
anything
they
on
just
it.
sold 3 of their biggest franchises. So,
Which ones?
Tomb Raider. Oh god, do I even remember the other ones?
Well, Tomb Raider has been garbage for a while.
No. The first 2 Tomb Raider games that came out like 2017, 2019 or whatever, those 2 were great. The newest one, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, that one sucked. I didn't finish that one. But the first 2, I honestly think were really great.
Gotcha. Well, I don't think the world agreed with you.
Well, they everyone hated the third one for sure. Yeah. But there was the first one especially had a huge, like a lot of people got back into Tomb Raider.
Laura Croft naked.
No, but she was
scantily clad.
No, she wasn't that bad actually. Like this was the most tame Laura
we've
ever seen.
But yeah, the elements in this game are good, but they could have been better. But I think these are third party. Like Square Enix doesn't do anything with games. They hire third party.
Ideas Montreal typically does a lot.
Like even my buddy who works at the game.
Don't Nod.
Yeah, no, I don't remember what it's called. Don't Nod's the original.
Don't Nod's the original.
But he's hired by Square Enix to make games for them.
Yeah.
Because Square Enix doesn't have a studio.
Yeah.
They're just a publisher.
Yeah.
So when you don't have like a go-to studio, I think it makes it harder because anything you make that's good and then you choose a different studio.
Yeah. So I guess are we ready for story? Or?
Let's jump into story.
Or is there anything more we need to talk about how it plays?
I mean, like a third-person shooter, good combat, just wish for more kind of deal. Nothing.
Puzzles were...
So really fast. They did have... this is where I kind of got like, maybe they should have picked what they wanted to do with this game. They had a lot of different kinds of gameplay.
Yeah.
So they had kind of like a old school Star Fox where you just go in a straight line and you move left or right. And you dodge enemy fire by doing the dodge in your ship.
Yeah.
So that they had that. Then they had a ship to ship kind of. You still move forward, but you can move in a 3-dimensional space, and you fire your weapons at that point, and you kill things. I don't know. So to me, I'm like, okay, why did you put this in here? What was the point? Like, I would have just done like a simpler thing where you didn't have to fire.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind like especially that first
the first battle was fun.
Battle in space.
But I think after that I was like, okay, I don't understand the point of this anymore.
Yeah, like that last battle up until getting into that last mission, that space scene was kind of lackluster.
Yeah.
The flying the ship ones to avoid debris and stuff, I mean, that's like in every Guardians of the Galaxy. Like in both of the movies they have a scene where they do that, so I'm wondering if they were just doing that just to tack on to that. Because that just feels Guardians of the Galaxy, that Rocket and him always arguing about how each other's driving or what decisions they're making or why they did this. And so I didn't mind it per se, but like, yeah, the vehicle missions were the most lackluster part of this,
Yeah,
besides that first space
To
one.
me, it was like, why even put him in there?
Yeah.
You could have taken him out. You've already had enough gameplay, a good gameplay with what you had. Why even put that in?
And none of the puzzles were too hard. Some of them were a little like weird.
Yeah.
But
There was one I got stuck on for a little while, and I was like, what the fuck
was that
do I
the
do
circle
here?
elevator one
I don't remember.
where you had to go to like 4 different rooms and do all the different things and have Groot like raise you up and you had to do the
No,
electricity?
not that one. That one was easy. There was one that was like a little difficult, and I was like, what the fuck do I do now? And I was so confused, and I'm like, really? That's what you fucking do? But I can't remember what it is.
I'm wondering if I had got stuck on the same one because there was I think one that I struggled with a little bit.
Yeah, and it was only one because after that you're like, okay, I get what to do now.
Yeah, they're not too bad. Sometimes you have to make decisions of like, which I also wonder too in the New Game Plus, like if I would have tried to sell Groot, what would have happened?
Oh, I looked it up.
I think I did look up that
So
too. But,
after
or I
you,
did try to sell Groot.
either way, you get the same mission.
Yeah.
So you sell Rocket and
But
she
one-
denies it, and Rocket kills someone, and you start the mission right away. You sell Groot and she accepts him, and you have to break him out.
Yeah.
But it's the same map.
Yeah, but
So-
one's more stealth, one's more combat.
Yeah, well,
from what I heard.
Yeah,
anyways.
kind of. It seemed like both were pretty much the same.
Which one
like
did you do?
I sold Rocket
I sold Groot actually.
because Rocket was. I thought like the little talking raccoon would be better than the giant tree man because the tree man's like a sentient being.
Yeah, but he's the last of his kind.
True, but
That's
he's not
why.
like an animal, right?
No, but he's a monster per se.
Yeah. No, it was just interesting that she wanted him to meet.
And then I let Drax do all the communications
Yeah,
because she was kind of flirting.
he
with
was clearly enamored by him.
him. Which this was interesting too, having Drax like be the one who killed Thanos, and I kind of wanted to see that,
Yeah,
like because they talked about it throughout the entire game.
maybe killed Thanos.
It seemed like
No,
several people said it.
Yeah, but Drax is saying that it didn't happen. Did you get all his collectibles?
I don't think I got all of
So
the collectibles.
if you do all of his collectibles, or if you do the second one at the very least, he tells you about his fight with Thanos and how he blacked out before he beat him and has no idea he woke up in a hospital, and that's where he murdered all those people, is after, because he thought Thanos was still
okay.
alive. He has a spell on him that makes him feel Thanos, and he can still feel Thanos.
Interesting.
So he thinks he's still alive. So in this one, Thanos is probably not dead, and that's probably going to be the second game if they make a second one.
Yeah, which I did like too, like in that in between the multiverse kind of section. You heard like the Avengers assemble, and then you heard like this, and then you heard that, like you heard all the different universes of things going on, and I was like, oh, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. And the nowhere little travel place with the giant hand.
Yep.
Yeah, Mantis in this was perfect too.
I love
He was
Mantis.
so
Mantis in this
funny.
is so much better than Mantis in the movie. Like way different. Like but like
I hope this is the one where we get married. Oh no, she says that one was awkward because in that one I'm your ex-wife.
well, and there was one time for me. She's like, there was that one time where we were together for a while, and we used to get intimate with each other. And he was like, wait, what? He's like, we were together.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. She didn't say married in mine. She just
So
said,
no,
like,
so
they were,
that's
like,
later.
screwing-
They do.
Oh,
He
okay.
says that one in the when you go to the Lamentus.
Oh, yeah,
But then when
yeah.
you're on the ship after she brings Lady Hellbender to you, if you
Oh,
talk to
okay.
her, she says, like, not all of these go that well, and some of them I'm your ex-wife.
Like seriously, like all of her things was so funny. And
Yeah. So she can see into the different like realities and see which ones are good and which ones are bad. She doesn't like guide you through them though. She kind of lets you choose which ones you're gonna be in.
Well, not necessarily different realities, but different time. Like kind of like so a lot of people argued this with like the new Doctor Strange. Like with the Darkhold, he's seeing different realities, but when he did the same stance in Endgame, or in Infinity War, he like was doing that same stance that he's doing with the Darkhold to see all the different things could happen in that same timeline or in that same universe.
I don't know.
But it wasn't
So
every reality of it.
Well, remember the multiverse theory is that every action you make, there is another action you could make.
Yeah.
And every action you could make, there is a reality where you did make that thing.
Yeah.
So what he's seeing, I think, at the same time is not only the fact that there's a bunch of different options, but there's a bunch of different options that are going to happen for sure.
Well, with the time stone, he's only seeing what's happening in that time.
Yeah,
Like,
but
that's why
he wasn't using the time stone.
He was when he in the first in Infinity War. He's using the.
Oh
time
yeah,
stone.
yeah. But he's not
In Darkhold, he's looking at all the different universes,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
different realities.
But he's seeing everything that's happening in that time ends up being another reality. Because it does actually
will
happen.
become a different reality, but that's not necessarily like he's not looking into other realities.
No,
This
no.
will become a new reality.
But he's looking for the reality
Yes.
that's the
Yes.
future that he likes the best.
Yes.
So he is looking realities, but
And
not
I think
realities
Mantis
so
has
much.
that same power where she's looking at different things in that same universe.
Well, kind
but
of, because
not-
hers was a little different. Because like I
It
don't
is,
know.
but like she's not. Never have I seen her have multiverse powers.
Yeah. Well, remember, this is different.
Yes,
like
I
said,
know.
this is so different from any of the comic
Yes.
stuff. But let's jump into story, and we can give you a little rushed breakdown of it.
Yeah.
It's story time. Let's get started.
All right, the story for this is fairly straightforward. You start out as the Guardians of the Galaxy. You do something to mess up everything.
Like always.
You find someone you used to know. That somebody dies. You figure out you have a kid, maybe. You jump in. Your kid becomes the big bad. She's inspired by another big bad to be the big bad.
Mm-hmm.
You defeat the second big bad to save your kid, and you save the galaxy. And that's pretty much it. It's like every fucking Guardians of the Galaxy thing. Like, the big bad is inspiring this really a good guy, but kind of a bad guy at the same time.
Well, and like this game had way more characters than I was expecting to have in it. It had
Some famous ones, too.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of famous characters.
and it went more emotional and darker than I was expecting
Mm-hmm.
in some aspects too, especially with how like happy
And where you fuck up the birthday party. That was funny.
the hardest one for me was in your dream world, and I don't know if I want to fully spoil this part.
I mean, this is what this
I
is
guess
for.
that's true. When you have to shoot your mom,
So I didn't know that.
I didn't know that the first time I got stuck in the loop and it said, "Do you want to retry or do you want to accept the promise?"
Well, and I was like, if you accept the promise, is that
Stay
it?
there.
Is
I
that
think
the game?
But maybe.
I kind of wanted to do it to see if that was the end of the game, but I didn't save beforehand because I didn't know what was going to happen.
And then when I got to that section again, I was just like trying different buttons. I was like, wait, I don't want to do this again. And I tried, and then that's when I realized I could actually pull away from it.
Yeah. If you smash X, that's what I started with.
Oh, I actually just held back.
Oh,
and pushed
I was
off.
smashing X and A. So maybe any button you
Yeah.
just hit.
But that part was just brutal. Like,
So
I was just like,
basically,
damn.
your daughter becomes this like prophet, and the promise is she'll bring back any one of your loved ones that you've lost.
Yes.
So there's a point where you're in your own head and you're seeing what you want the most, and it's your mom back alive on the farm.
Yes. So it actually takes you back to the because you have a flashback moment earlier in the game where you get to see the moment where Peter got his guns.
The day.
The day.
Yeah. It's your birthday.
Yeah. And that's
you're like,
the
"Go,
same day that
go."
aliens came to come kidnap you and
The
put you in
Chitauri.
prison. Yeah. And so they kill your mom and everything, but when you get the view of the promise, you're yourself as an older man now, and you actually go out there and fight them and kill all the people and save your mom.
Yeah.
And then it's got this whole thing going on where like you're like, oh, I gotta have you meet all my friends, mom. Like meet Drax.
Well, you know what's interesting? Like the fact that in his mind, everyone else's, it sounded like they saw, because even you went into Drax's, you saw what you wanted,
Yeah.
and it never included the other Guardians.
Yeah.
But in his mind, it's like, I want my mom and my friends to be my family.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting. I'm like, holy shit, they really went deep with him.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like Drax's was sad too.
Yeah.
Drax's and yours is the only one you get to fully see.
Yeah.
You hear Rocket talk about his a little bit, and you hear Gamora talk about hers, which
And Cosmo.
yeah, and Cosmo. Which Cosmo was like one of the best surprises. I totally forgot that that's what that character's name was, so I was not expecting Cosmo to be a dog.
The most powerful psychic
So
imaginable.
when you're trapped in his mind and you're talking with Rocket and you guys are barking at each other, if you do that discussion or
Yeah.
that dialogue option, I am dying laughing because I'm like, why the fuck are they just barking
Yeah,
at
I
each
had
other?
no idea, and I didn't know why the dogs were like right below you when you
Yeah.
first get in there.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? But I was just, yeah, it was so funny. And the way you escape from Cosmo later in the game by throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Because I didn't break him out of the promise.
Oh, I did.
Oh, okay.
He just leaves. He ends up going to save his puppies.
Oh, okay.
And I figured out if you break him out of the promise, he comes back during the last level, so you don't have to fight certain things. So
that would have been nice.
they were, you know, that area where all those people are dropping in the last part, like it was a bunch of people dropping from a dropship. He destroys the dropship. He brings fucking
Dude.
he brings Nowhere's head and he shoots a laser with Nowhere.
Oh, shit.
And Peter's like, I didn't know Nowhere had lasers like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so much better. I did not get that at all because
Yeah.
I didn't save him from the promise.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is he kept on like torturing all of us, and then
Did you kill him?
No, Quill eventually was able to like reach towards his like pouch in his back, and he pulls out a red rubber ball
And he throws it.
and he throws it. And Cosmo, because he was like visioning of being on Earth as a
Yeah.
dog again, he's like, oh, and starts running after the ball, and then Quill's like, hurry, we gotta get out of here before he gets back with the ball.
Did you do World Mind then?
World Mind, oh yeah, we talked to World Mind.
Did you get him?
No.
Okay. So I got him to come too.
God damn it.
And
Okay.
he helps you with the robot part. So all those robots where you have to just run past them, I think. In this one, you could just shoot them one time and they're all dead.
Fucking what the
It was
fuck?
so- it was
that
such an
last
easy
level.
part.
Okay, that last level was probably so much easier with that.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
those
it
levels.
was. I did not have any trouble on
I
the last level.
like it was so long for me to get through all the
Mm-hmm.
different waves of those enemies and shit. Like, god damn.
I just ran past them too. I shot a couple and I was like, okay, what's the point in doing this? It just keeps spawning.
Well, there were certain times where I was locked off, like I couldn't go further until
Yeah.
I killed the last enemy.
And if you have Gamora, I guess you can stop Gamora. I had no idea.
Oh, I didn't know you could.
So apparently, if you run up where she's going, you fall down and she comes to save you.
Oh.
So and if you stop
okay.
her, Raker's more powerful at the end. But I was like, no, I just ran at the enemies because I'm like, okay, Gamora's gonna handle
Yeah.
this. Like, you don't say anything. You don't say stop, Gamora.
My character did.
Oh, I don't remember that, but
Oh.
I just ran at the enemies and started fighting them.
Gamora, what are you doing? Gamora, get back here! And then
Yeah.
later on, he's like, "Where the fuck did Gamora go? Like, why did Gamora leave? Should we go back for her?" And like, all this-
No. One of the characters said that. I think Star-Lord says, no, she's the most deadliest woman in
Yeah.
the galaxy. She's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
And she throws the arm on you, and you're like, yeah.
yeah,
How did you get his arm?
right.
If you were good enough to chop off his arm, what that? Like, it took all four of us to do anything. Yeah, to do anything to him. What the fuck happened there?
Another great moment that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting Adam Warlock to be in this.
Yeah, that was interesting. So, World Mind drops it, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
they mention Adam Warlock.
Yeah,
And then you get to him, and I'm like I had no idea at first who he was. I'm like, gold skin? Is that fucking Adam Warlock? And then Mantis says, Aiden something. I can't remember what she says, but
Aiden Wizard.
Aiden Wizard, yeah. Or Aiden Witch or something like that.
Yeah.
It was
Or I
pretty-
think it was Aiden Witchcraft, and then I
Oh,
think he said,
yeah.
like she said another thing was Wizard. It was like
it was
Andy
great.
Wizard or
Man,
something.
yeah,
like that.
Mantis was one of the best characters. She was just so fucking funny. Non-stop funny.
And so much of the time, oh, you probably don't want to do that. Or I wonder if this is the ending where we all die. Or
Yeah.
I wonder if this is the place where he gets his face melted.
Did you make it through the credits?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
was gonna ask.
I saw it on my phone for a long time because the credits were fucking taking forever.
No, the first credits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I'm like, okay, well, the game's over. I was about to turn it off too.
Oh,
but then I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
no, I'll wait.
It's a Marvel thing. I was expecting something
yeah,
to
it's
happen.
like
in the credits.
maybe I thought there was gonna be a teaser for the next game,
Yeah.
which there didn't end up turning out to be a teaser. But in the first part of the credits, you're still on the ship talking. I'm like, okay, so at least it's not like telling you
Yeah.
like get out of here.
Yeah.
Like at least the credits aren't rolling and then it stops it and that's when the big bad comes back again. You know, you're on the ship and it's still showing the ship and people are still talking.
It did have credits and then stop and then go into the Magus battle and then had credits again.
Yeah, no. So during those credits though, it showed the ship and it still had Star-Lord talking.
Yeah.
So and that's what kind of cues you into not turn off the game
Yeah.
because it might show you extra, which is nice that they did that.
Yeah.
I think that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Don't fucking start the real credits and wait like 30 seconds and then show the reveal that you're not done with the game yet.
Yeah. Which I really am wondering if the the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie is gonna have Adam Warlock because he was teased in the second one.
Yeah, but again, weird
Yeah.
because he's created by Earth.
I mean,
Like it just gets weird. The more MCU, the more you watch it, you're like, what are they fucking doing?
well, honestly, I like what they're doing though, because they kind of pick like the best parts of like
Yeah.
different stories and piece them together
Yeah.
and make it.
Because I mean, it would be impossible to make a
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but like off of the first 20 issues.
And I
Because
have
the first 20 issues are all just
So,
Star-Lord.
yeah.
None of them are fucking the Guardians.
They're not fucking the Guardians.
No, they're not. But it's all Star-Lord when you
Yeah.
get like, and I think I read because I was curious about his opening story. He doesn't get kidnapped as a kid.
No.
That doesn't happen in the opening. He's works at NASA because his friend works there as a janitor.
Oh, weird.
And he steals a spaceship, a Kree ship.
Oh, okay.
And then he gets broken up in space, and that's when Yondu picks him up.
Interesting.
And Yondu does have like a loving relationship with him
Yeah.
because he realizes how bad his childhood was
Yeah.
and how his childhood was bad too. I don't remember. His mom does die from an alien attack, but he doesn't get abducted during it.
Interesting.
Yeah, he defeats all the people with his new guns.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, like even with like the MCU, like I know I haven't watched the new Miss Marvel yet. I know that just came out. So
Oh.
the first episode just came out
oh, really? On Disney Plus?
on Disney Plus.
All right.
But that like from all the trailers and everything, they changed her powers a little bit. It's more cosmic looking than stretchy looking.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of people wondered if that's just because there hasn't been a good stretching ability power ever shown on TV.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Fantastic was obviously the worst looking powers in all of the Fantastic Four.
Funny as fucking.
Silly stream. Oh god, that was awesome. But
That was fucked.
but yeah, no, I like a lot of the changes they've been making. I really love all the changes they made in this game. I think that just the story for all this, like even like all the Lady Hellbender stuff was awesome. The whole thing with Fing Fam Foom, I wasn't expecting that.
That
either.
was the best part of the game because fucking Drax. I mean, what's funny is there was no boss up until that point.
Yeah.
Like none, but there was tease bosses.
Yeah.
Like nonstop tease bosses, but that was the only boss. Like that in the Raker.
Yeah.
Only two bosses in the whole game.
Pretty much.
Very
yeah. Well,
interesting.
the thing you fight at Lady Hellbender's, that kind of was a boss fight.
It should not really.
The giant tentacle thing.
Oh yeah, yes, that was the boss fight.
Boss, yeah.
Yeah, but that like between that one, which was what, chapter 3, chapter 4.
I think it was even further on that. Oh, let's see. Oh, Monster Queen. That's 4.
Yeah, so chapter 4, and then the next one was the Fing Fame Foom, which was Into the Fire, chapter 14.
Yeah.
So, or no, against all, no, it was Into the Fire, I think.
Yeah.
So, like 10 fucking full chapters, 20 hours of gameplay go by before you get your next fucking boss.
Yeah, and I mean there was that battle with the Blood Brothers, but that wasn't
Barely,
really a
barely,
boss.
yeah.
Which they had interesting powers with them being close and them being invulnerable, but when
and
they
then you
separated
separate
them,
yeah.
Just so many good characters. Like I love all the stuff with Lady Hellbender, especially all the stories that fucking Drax told. Same with Fing Fam Foom. All the stories he told about Fing Fam Foom and like doing his war chants and stuff like that. Like I don't know if you had everyone sing along with them and stuff, but I even loved the llama Cammy.
Yeah, Cammy. What did you choose, by the way? Did you eject rocket shit or the llama?
I hid the gear and I didn't send. I kept the llama in the thing and kept the gear hidden, so I didn't eject either of them.
Yeah. So if you eject the gear, you don't get those bonus. You don't get the homing missiles.
Yeah,
which is fine because you don't really need them.
They're nice.
But if you do that, you have to pay more on your fine.
Oh,
if you keep the whatever.
Yeah,
because
it was 8,000 credits for me.
It was 7 for me. So
okay.
It was a little bit more, and you have to use some credits on the station on Nowhere to get some certain things. So I got a doll because Gamora collects dolls, and that was the collectible for her.
I did the lottery thing and I won, but then it broke.
Yeah, so that always happens.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
If you do, because I ended up like, okay, I don't want to lose all my money. I saved before it, and then I would go in and do stuff, and then I would reload my save. I fucked up. So that always happens because I did that 3 times. And then the gamble one, the one where you choose, the first one's really easy.
Okay.
and he cheats on the second one. So the first one you win money,
Oh, okay.
and the second one first one you give him like 10 and you win 1,000.
Interesting.
And the second one you give him 1,500 and then he cheats, and he
Okay.
always cheats.
Oh, okay.
Because I did that one multiple times. Like it was really funny because you do everything multiple times.
Yeah.
I think that was the only ways you could make money, and you could spend money on like, you could buy this thing. I don't know what it did though. It was just a thing. I think it helped you remove the
Oh.
because you get the option later to pay your debt or not.
Yeah.
But I think it helps you remove the
Tracker.
not the tracker. It disables your ship after 3 days.
Yeah.
So you tracker, yes,
Yeah.
and whatever was attached to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you could buy that, but I was planning on paying the fine, so I was
Yeah.
like,
I
okay.
paid the fine.
Yeah. So and then you can buy the doll, and I think you could buy something else.
Huh.
I think you could buy a lot of stuff like food and shit. You could try the food.
Oh, okay.
So it was interesting. It was a fun part was nowhere. I really liked that part.
Yeah.
Oh, and going into the museum was fucking sweet. I don't know if you did that.
Trying to think of the museum.
So if you do the no lips thing, did you do no lips?
I'm trying to remember.
So no lips was the song and repeat thing you had to do in the bar that Rocket and Groot were in. So
I
after
don't
they
think I
say
did, then.
after they say they're done, it's probably optional because if you just walk in, he just stops you.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
what happens when you don't do it, but
Okay.
you have to repeat the lyrics of a song, and it's not a real song, I don't
Oh,
think.
okay.
And again, save, go in.
Yeah.
Save before everything in this.
Yeah.
Like anytime I entered a building, I ended up saving because I'm like, okay, what cutscene am I going to jump into now that I have to
Right.
interact with? And if you do the no lip thing right, he gives you a free ticket into the Collector's Museum.
Oh, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah, so-
yeah, I did not get to do that.
Yeah, and no lips is so funny. He's like, you don't remember who he is,
Oh, okay.
but he's like, come on, we're gonna do the same song and dance we always do. Let's go, Star-Lord. And he's just, if you fuck with him, I think you have to kill him. I'm not too sure,
interesting.
actually.
Okay.
Or at least he walks away and he doesn't give you the ticket. But if you get all the song lyrics right, he gives you a ticket. You go into the museum. You get to see some cool stuff. So you get to see the real Tesseract,
Oh, nice.
so the cosmic cube,
Yeah.
not the Infinity
stones, yeah.
Stone. Yeah. You get to see Thor as a frog.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, which
nice.
was funny. And you get to see Frog Guy's hammer.
Nice.
And that was really funny. You get to learn about some of the stuff from MCU and how it's not relatable to the comics at all.
Oh, okay.
Which was interesting. Get to learn about some people who are members of the Guardians, who like different
Yeah.
members. Yeah. But the collector's thing was really fun. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Dude, I loved seeing Frog Thor in the Loki show. Mm-hmm. Like that was like I think the first time I had ever seen Frog
Yeah.
Thor, and then I looked it up and read a bunch of stuff about Frog Thor. So having that in the game,
Yeah.
I definitely want to go back and see that.
Yeah, you're gonna love it when you do the no lips thing because it's actually really funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah, you have to go into the bar. It's on the right
Okay.
side.
Okay, I'll
And,
do that.
yeah, and there's a way to go back there because I remember. Okay, there's a door that's not open, and then if you go around, you can open the door from the other side. Like you have to leave the bar and go down
okay.
a hallway, but in that hallway is a bunch of materials you can collect.
Okay.
Again,
interesting.
scanner man.
I didn't
Scanned
do the
everything.
scanner, so that's probably why I missed some stuff.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. The collector shit was good. The Nowhere was probably my favorite part of this whole game.
Yeah, I really liked Nowhere.
Yeah.
That last battle was pretty awesome and pretty metal. Like one of my favorite parts of that
No,
last battle.
That wasn't pretty metal. Him catching his.
That's what I was about to say. I was just about to say that. That was the coolest shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of the last level, Rocket asks for Star-Lord's tunes, and he takes his Walkman and he makes
No, it's a cassette player,
or
right?
cassette player.
Is
Yeah,
the Walkman a cassette player?
yeah, Walkman's a cassette player.
Okay, then yes, Walkman probably.
Yeah. So he asked us for his Walkman. He takes his Walkman and he puts like some boosters and stuff on it and like some speakers that would connect to all stations of all the ships around. And he sends it out to distract all the ships to go a certain direction so they can try to get onto this main ship. And Star-Lord's like, my tunes, but I'm never gonna get them back. And
No, he says we're gonna go after those after
yeah.
we beat Riker.
he's like so sad and so depressed, and like the entire time you're battling up until a certain point, like you can't do the huddle because you don't have the tunes and stuff like that. And you're there's a moment where you kind of see a glimpse of something green right before the camera goes out on the tunes, and I was like, my immediate thought was that was Big Bang Boom, and I was like, oh, and then she comes over. She's like, Lady Hellbender's riding food. She's like, Star-Lord! And she grabs the tunes and throws them, and he like runs, and you have to do a quick time event, catch it in the air.
Quick time events are really easy.
They're
it's just like
super
literally
easy in this game.
You watch something get smaller, and when it gets green, you press a button, or you pull in your directional
pads and then hit a button. After that.
Literally, it's so easy.
But that was just so much.
Oh, and when he catches it, there's an explosion behind the dragon. The dragon breathes fire. Like, it is so fucking cool.
And I love it. He comes down and he's like, oh, yes. And they're like, are you okay? And he's like, that was just so metal. Yeah.
It was good. That was a great part. See, that's where they got the Guardians right, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it was just silly all the time, even during those tense moments. Like, So yeah, in this, by the way, you think this girl is your daughter because you had sex with this woman 12 years before, and she's 12 years old. Yeah. But you find out that she's not your daughter, but she
was a orphan of a war.
Yeah, but she's not pure blood Kree, and they apparently were killing all the non-pure blood Kree after the war with Thanos. Yeah. And the Chitauri. Who, if you don't know who the Chitauri are, if you remember the first Avengers, the Chitauri are the things that came through the portal and they had to fight in New York City. Yeah. So that's Chitauri. And they, in the original comics, they're a bigger deal than that. Yeah. But you figure out she's not your daughter, but you still have to kind of treat her as your daughter.
Yeah, she still needs a father figure.
Yeah, because her mom is dead. Yeah. Chlorel, who was the person who you had sex with 12 years ago, who you thought was the mother, is dead and absorbed into the Soul Infinity Stone, which comes into play here. And her ghost kind of tells Peter, hey, I'm gone. You have to make her accept this. Because that's the only reason she accepted the promise was to bring her mom back from...
Because she felt like her mom's death was her fault.
Yeah, when really it was Star-Lord's.
It was
definitely Star-Lord's fault.
Well, and there's a section where you can try to blame it on Rocket. Because it was both Star-Lord and Rocket.
Is that when you're talking to her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't choose that.
I didn't choose it either, but they had the option of try to blame it on... It was either like... Try to say you like understood her guilt, or it wasn't your fault, or blame it on Rocket. And I almost wanted to blame it on Rocket just to see what would have done.
Kills Rocket when she But you break when you break her out of the promise, you get into that last Raker fight, and that one was pretty fucking.
That was hard.
It wasn't too bad actually.
It wasn't terrible, but it was definitely just time consuming. Like
so. What I ended up doing was you can take down a shield, and then you do a bunch of damage to him, and you have to do that 3 times, or at least that's how many times I did it.
I think it was 3 or 4 for me.
Yeah. And then when he did the darkness thing, I would just go up in the air with my jets.
I should have done that. I kept forgetting about
you can't hit anything. I couldn't aim at anything, and I couldn't target with the quick time events. But I was like, okay, so I'll just hang out here and dodge everything. And then if any of he sent out these stunner things that stunned your Guardian sometimes, and only Gamora got stunned, and I just shot it.
Oh, okay.
And it's easy to do while you're in the air. Yeah. So don't even have to dodge it. Perfect.
I love another really Guardians moment is the Magus fight where you're trying to just annoy the fuck out of
them. So at the end of the game, they had like a false credit scene, and you have to... Adam Warlock absorbs this evil being that took over Nikki, who is your kind of daughter, and he absorbs it, and you're on the ship, and it's like, yeah, we beat it, we won, and you do the strut.
Well, and I love that like it's doing all this stuff, but like when it's reading the credits, random names just keep on changing to Magus. It says Magus played by Magus.
I didn't even
Magus
notice
played
that.
by Magus. So it kept on saying Magus over all the credits. Like all the names kept on changing to Magus.
That's funny.
And I was like, why is this happen? Why is this saying Magus? Why is this happening? And then all of a sudden you get into the Magus.
Magus
fight.
takes over Adam Warlock's body, and you don't even really fight him. You just like the first option was
you can either like a slow clap.
Slow clap.
I did the slow clap
because it said like we got to do what we do best: save the galaxy. No, annoy the shit out of
people. And like you had the option of like taunting or do a slow clap or do this, and you're like, no, yeah, so good.
Remember, it was 2 options. It was slow clap and a appeal to Warlock.
Oh yeah, appeal to Warlock.
But I was like, okay, well, appealing to Warlock's not that annoying, so let's do slow clap.
That's what I thought too. And then he's like. At first, you're like slow clapping, and everyone's
like, hurrah! You're clapping for me.
He's like, it's a sarcastic clap.
We're mocking you, and he's like, no! stupidest shit. And I think the second option, I don't remember what the second option was for Badger him was the one, and I don't remember the third one, but it was funny.
I don't remember either.
It was really funny.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
So funny and just so.
You end up
abstract.
absorbing him into the Soul Stone, and then you give the Soul Stone to the real Adam Warlock, and he says he'll guard.
He does have another moment, kind of like at the end of the first Guardians, where he's like holding the stone, kind of, or like where they are all holding the stone together, going against.
Oh no! Remember it was but remember it was the quick time event that was way fucking better than that.
Yeah.
So they all have to grab the stone. They have to get him close to the stone, and Peter Quill has to be the one to absorb him. So I think first Nikki tries to throw it and it gets knocked out of her hand. So then Rocket shoots him.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, it's a fucking stone, guys. And then Gamora slashes it with her fucking sword.
You can't break that.
No, you can't. But it was just funny how rough they were being, and then
how long it took Wanda to destroy that one of those stones.
True.
Yeah.
Groot didn't do much.
No.
Groot just threw Gamora, I think.
I think so.
And then Drax grabs it and throws it towards Peter. Peter grabs it and absorbs him and dies.
Yeah.
And then Groot somehow brings him back, which I'm so confused.
Which also he brought back Fing Fang Fu.
Yeah, which I get that he can bring back life, kind of, but I'm so confused.
His powers, honestly, in the comics are ludicrous. Like, he is one of the most powerful Marvel beings, probably, if you look at, like, the shit that he can do. Because, like, there is one moment in the comics, and Corey always told me about this moment, because he really loved Groot in the comics.
Yeah.
And he hated how the MCU movies showed him really underpowered.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you can't compare the two. They're different. But, one of the things is there was at one point like the entire world was in danger of getting blown up by some alien laser or something, and Groot within a matter of 3 seconds used his body to cover the entire circumference of the Earth to protect it from the entire blast.
God damn.
Like, boom, just instantly. And I was like, the fuck? Like, he's insanely powerful.
He is.
Like,
he's like one of the cooler characters.
yeah.
I love that you got the I was so looking forward. You find this translator collectible.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, maybe I can talk to Groot with this thing. And then Rocket's like, it's not repairable and you can never talk to Groot.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, no, I wanted to hear what Groot actually says.
I loved, like, Groot in this, I think, was even better, too, because his inflections of his voice, I think, were better.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely, like, had more
Groot?
of a question tone.
Yeah.
Or definitely more exclamatory
I
tone.
am Groot.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
he'll laugh, ha, 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 I am Groot.
or, like, even him, like, humming for singing and stuff. Like, I loved the singing mission when they're all stuck in the rooms after Drax traps them in the ship, and you have to get Cammy to...
Oh, no, I didn't. Because if you choose Cammy, she chews through the wall and you just get out.
I had to sing to her to get to a
Oh,
panel.
interesting.
So, like, we were all 4 trapped in rooms, and I had Rocket send the camera specs to my tablet, and I had to look at all the cameras, and I had to tell certain people to sing at different times to get Cammy to move in certain directions to get to that box.
Interesting. So Cammy that place where Groot's room is, where the secret compartment is, Cammy eats through the ceiling to get into Star-Lord's room, and there's a hole behind his poster if you hide her instead of the weapons.
Oh.
So then you just leave the room and you don't have to do any of that.
Oh, okay. Because I hid the weapons earlier, and I got trapped by Drax.
Yeah, she didn't. You get trapped by Drax still, but you can get out because there's a hole in your walls.
So there is some differences.
But you find like Cammy constantly laying in your bed.
Oh, I see. I didn't. I think I had that once.
Yeah, she's always laying in your bed.
And I hated that that fridge door kept on opening.
I know, that was the most. There's a door that doesn't work properly, or maybe people just.
Well, I think it doesn't work properly because there's. So I shut it like every time I walked by it, and the last time I shut it, like in the very last mission when you're on the ship, I shut it, and Rocket's like, "Oh, someone else knows how to shut that flarkin' door."
No, they say that anytime.
Every other time, I think I did it while everyone was waiting to leave the ship for the mission, and I was walking around by myself, and I would hit it, and so no one saw me do it, so I never heard anything back from it.
Because there's points where you can just walk around with people doing stuff too.
Yeah.
So I would do it then. What's interesting is during the last part of that, I don't remember if you read all the dialogue stuff. One of the things they say is they use something to keep the door closed, and it was so funny. I can't remember what it was.
I didn't read all of the things.
I can. Oh, I think it was a person.
Because it did like the whole like 80s ending movie montage thing where it showed a picture of someone and then this person went on to do this.
The Animal House ending, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the story.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Worth or not?
What do you say?
I say this game is worth it for sure.
Game's trash, so
Like,
we're gonna go no.
I think this is even only a. I think this is only even a $40 game. I don't know if this was a full cost game.
Which is crazy since that took me like 23 hours to beat it.
Yeah. And I think this. Well, it is on Game Pass, so I didn't pay any money for it, obviously. So if you have Game Pass, obviously play it on there. I think it's completely worth it. Your time, your energy. Like I think this game is just. The comedy alone in this game and the feel of Guardians of the Galaxy alone in this game is perfect. The combat's good enough. Like some of the things like we said with the ship battles and stuff, a little lackluster or whatever, but every other moment in this and the story in this is really fucking good actually. Like
Mantis is the pilot.
oh god.
What is the red flashing light thing? Wait, it's yellow. Wait, it's red again.
Or there's some like flashing underneath this like tape thing. Oh yeah, I put that tape there because that light was annoying me. You can't just block out the tape with
warning
signals. They're annoying me.
The best was when he was like, "That's it, you lost your tape privileges."
Yep.
It's my tape
and my ship.
it's so good. I'm gonna go Worth, dude. This game was a lot of fun. I think the story was just fucking killer.
Oh, so killer.
Like they did such a good job writing the story, and even with the inconsistencies with like the comics or whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
Like honestly, it's its own thing.
If you take this as
is.
its own thing, don't compare it to any of the other Marvel stuff. This thing is fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting exactly Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, that kind of Guardians of the Galaxy, you're not gonna like this.
Yeah. And if you really care that much, I mean, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't
It's a
either.
fun game still.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was that.
Woohoo!
What's our next week game? I hope you know, because I don't.
It was kind of up for debate at first, but I was originally talking about doing Until Dawn.
Okay.
And that was the one that's only on PlayStation 4. Mm-hmm. And you don't have a PlayStation 4.
I do not.
So, but their newest game just came out. It's called The Quarry. I was telling you about it. It's that horror game that has like 186 endings.
Yeah.
So that just came out. So I want us to play that one as our next one instead of Until Dawn. That way we can, because I'll get it on Steam so we can both play it. But we can, I was thinking about even possibly like streaming this game or playing it fully and then recording the videos.
It's one of the 2-player games?
This is one of the ones where you can do, so it has the online capabilities for the game, I don't think come in until July. But there's a movie theater mode or a movie mode in this game where you can watch with a group of people and you each pick a person you want to control.
Interesting.
And it'll tell you when to pass the controller. And you make all the decisions while you're that character.
Huh.
And so every character in the game can die in different ways, in different areas, and different whatever. And it's a huge cast for this game. Like David Arquette's in it. He's a camp counselor. Lynn Shay from Insidious is in this. Like Brenda Song is in this. Like there's Justice Smith, who is in Detective Pikachu. Yeah. Like all these people this is a big cast game. And for all the reviews so far of it have been pretty fantastic and say it's just as good, if not better, than Until Dawn, which their other 3 games that they've made have been lackluster compared to Until Dawn. So I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I think it'd be a fun one for us to do for this. So
okay, we'll play it.